You're listening to the Back Home Network, presented by Homefield Apparel.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I know I probably cook people's spreads and stuff like that. We're always looking for the Indiana money line, which is the win.
Pay that man his money.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
All right, folks, welcome back. CrimsonCASH. My God, we're here. James, what's up, man?
What a crazy couple weeks it's been since our last episode. This has been a wild ride, so we're loving it.
Unbelievable. Real quick, shout out to our sponsors, Homefield Apparel. You know them. I'm wearing their Rose Bowl sweatshirt right here. We're doing a couple they're doing a bunch of activation events. Check their socials. We're doing a live show Sunday night. So check them out. Where's the location for that? James, do you have it?
I do not.
Of course not.
Because I will not be there. I will be in frosty Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Mickey Burke's down on South Beach. So check that out, 7 to 10 p.m. Also, our sponsor is Posh Hotel in Bloomington. Check them out. They have the Kurt Signetti room. That's the place to be in the city of Bloomington. If you are coming into Bloomington just to enjoy the festivities for the game, check out a room at the Posh Hotel. Just check them out, poshhotelbloomington.com. And I believe Galen and I are going to be doing a get-together on the 19th on Monday as well in Fort Lauderdale. So keep up with Galen on that. But we had to do a gambling show in lieu ahead of the national championship. It's been a wild ride. I was traveling for the Rose Bowl. We both went down to the Peach Bowl, although we couldn't connect while we were down there. But now we have some time, and we got to talk about how to make some gambling money on this game. But I want to start here, James. You've been an IU fan as well. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. What is this? I like how Galen has been asking this a lot on all of his pods, but like, what is this ride and the last 24 months meant to you as an alumnus and an IU football fan?
Well, my first game ever was the 1987 Old Bucket game. So that's that's how far back I go. This has been unbelievable. I texted Galen earlier this year that I once believed, or I was pretty convinced I would see Jesus return before IU would ever win a national championship. It was just something that wasn't even on my radar. You know, I always thought, well, the Pacers will never win one, but you never know. They could be so bad, get a number one pick like LeBron and, luck into one some way. I just never saw it was actually in the cards or on the table for IU ever. It's just something that I never even imagined was possible. I mean, just getting to a Rose Bowl, yeah. I thought was going to be, I thought maybe we could do that until they changed the system. It used to be, if you tied and then if you were it's been the longest since you'd gone, then you got to go. It used to be the tiebreaker in the Big Ten. And right. So I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a chance we might someday do that. This is just so far from what I could have ever possibly imagined. It's unbelievable. I was a Colts fan. They went 1-15 and won a Super Bowl within the, so I've seen some amazing turnarounds, but nothing like this, nothing even close.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember, this summer, I mean, it's wild that you have the run the Pacers went on the same, 12-month period, not the same calendar year, but the same year, 12 months as this run. But I remember, I think I was talking to Galen or somebody. I see it right where I was walking my dog right out the window there. I remember like walking my dog and saying, it always felt like championships were for somebody else. As a Pacers fan, my thing was always like, I'm gonna enjoy, trying to win our division or get a seed and, can you win a round? Like that would be fun. And maybe you make a finals. That's not what it's about. And that's not what I'm going to pin my overall hopes to, because I'm just going to be pissed and unhappy all the time. Like you find the small wins, and it's like that Reggie Miller era was awesome. We didn't win a title out of it, but it's like, there's so many good memories. That was a great time. And like, can we do something like that again, where you're just in the mix? And similarly with IU football, it was like, can we just get to bowls and have a good bowl experience?
That's all we wanted, was to go to a bowl game, every couple of years. That's all we were asking for. And look at what we got. This is great. Just like asking Santa for a car and you get a Lambo, like
Yeah, I mean, to be at a point where there's a possible championship in football is bananas. I mean, I was
that is the most coveted title in all of college athletics, and maybe it's the toughest one to get in all athletics. Period, is a college football national title. It's probably got the least amount of distinct winners. You know, if you're a baseball team, I'm a Cubs fan too. It was just a matter of time. Statistically, it could not keep going on forever. They wouldn't ever win a World Series, you know, and then they win a World Series with a team that just dissipated, you know, and everybody was gone in 2 years, you know.
Hold on 1 second. We're not going to pause. Just hold on. Say something smart while I'm gone for like 12 seconds.
Yeah. So these things tend to happen, you know, in sports. And so that's just what's so weird about this, is because college football is not the sport where that generally happens. College football is historically always been a sport for a few select programs, and a couple may come here and there, but it's always boiled down to the blue bloods, and the paradigm is completely shifted. And good Lord, we're at the top of the mountaintop. It's awesome.
Yeah, whatever you said was awesome. I love it.
I know it was very wise.
That was good. For those in a little inside baseball here, if you listen to my podcast with Connor Onion, which I really enjoyed, it's been overcast all week here. And then right when I start the podcast, the sun comes out and it's like right out of that window, and it's just like slamming me in the face. But it's like Onion had a heart out. It's like I just couldn't do what I just did. I was like, I should have just paused it for a second. But like, if you watch the video, I'm like, just. And of course, I'm an idiot. And so I start this pod with you, leave all my blinds open again. It's overcast, and the sun just immediately starts beating down on me. So I had to go close the blinds.
Most people do watch for your pretty face, Scott. So
it's more just, it looked awful. Anyway, no, man, I agree with all that. And what's funny is I was saying this after the Big Ten title. You know, not only was the national championship nowhere on my radar, it felt like getting to a Rose Bowl was possible, but getting to a Big Ten title and winning the Big Ten, that seemed almost unachievable. It's like you'd have to go through Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State. Like, no. We're much more likely to like have a situation where, you know, somehow we make it to the Big Ten title game, but we lose, or maybe like those two teams go to the playoff and we get the Rose Bowl. Like, I was like, there's going to be a maturation somehow where like I could see us somehow getting to the Rose Bowl without being in the Big Ten title game. But the idea that we got to a Big Ten title game and won a Big Ten title almost seemed like that's more unbelievable. That was, to me, more unbelievable than making the college football playoff. And then to win a national title is just off any rational. It's like the line in Ghostbusters when he has the Twinkies. Like my mind is like beyond any rational, like cognitive thought right now, or whatever he says. Like that's exactly where I'm at. So with that, and what I also have loved with this show and with you is I'm starting to get a lot of people coming up to me now telling me about their bets, which is just awesome. Like at the Big Ten title game, and I saw this. I apologize. I am so bad with names of people I've only met once or twice, so it's not you, it's me. I think his name was Kurt, but he sat a row behind me in the Big Ten title game. He had a Big Ten title championship bet that netted him like $4,000. Like he bet it, parlayed it with something else, and he's like, I'm not cashing out, and he won that. I saw him at the Rose Bowl or maybe the Peach Bowl. But like, I love people coming up to me and giving me their futures bets. On this show, we talked a lot about my Heisman Doza bet that I made in August. That was awesome. I have an IU national championship bet. It wasn't much. It was still back. I'll pull up the odds. It was still back a while ago, but it wasn't beginning of the season. I also had a bet for IU to make the CFP, which I know you did as well, which I cashed out. So the number of future bets and the number of people who are telling you about their future bets has also been a nice, fun subplot. So if you see me in Miami and you have any kind of future or bets, just please share them with me. I love hearing it.
Yeah, that was one of the great things about being at the Peach Bowl was meeting some of the listeners, and you guys were great. Yeah. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So I love hearing those bets too, and keep them coming on X. I love to see those tickets rolling in and seeing all the money everybody's winning. Yeah.
So I have, let me pull it up here because I've bet a lot on Indiana already. No, I bet Indiana.
Now to remind people, when Indiana had their second bye, we had no Hoosier Hot Streak because they were not playing. Mm-hmm. So the Hoosier Hot Streak that week was your old buddy James told you to go put money on IU to win the national championship at plus 600 odds. So I want to see how many of you actually did that. So
I got him at plus 370 on like the morning after the Big Ten title game.
Okay.
Not
You're a little late to the party, but that's all right.
a little late, but I had my Mendoza bet. I'm kissed in on that. All right. We got a bunch of stuff for you to talk through. You lead me through what you want me to show first, and we'll go from there.
Show the ones with the bets on them first.
The bets on them. This one?
No. That one, yeah.
There
there are my futures bets.
Okay.
So that's when I told you guys to put it on IU, and I think I was doing something. FanDuel was running a NBA promo where if you lost, you got your bet back as a free bet. So I was putting them into there, and I won a little bit of money because I took some long odds. So, but that plus 124 there was Ohio State or Indiana versus the field.
Okay.
So that's the only actual dollars I have on this game. The rest are all free bets that I've put from either DraftKings or FanDuel. So
those are great.
Yeah, I think it's great. So what I want to say is, if you are in my situation and you have this, you don't need to do anything. Just sit back and enjoy the freaking game and win and enjoy collecting your winnings. That would be my advice to you. So anything I do beyond here is for people who still want to have a little action on it. But if you're in my position, now I'm going to put a little more action on it. I'm not going to lie. But
you're not going to heed your own advice. 100%.
But that's because we got a slice of the pie bet coming up this week as well. And so I like to bet live too, because I think sometimes you can grab some really good stuff live. But I generally don't post those because it's too hard to, react and all that.
Right.
Stuff. So, but let's look at the spread here. 8.5. It has creeped toward. It has crept towards 9 at Bally's. So if you have an interest in taking the Hurricanes in the points and have a Bally's account, first of all, why? And second of all, why? But that would be the place to do it. 8.5 is kind of where we're at here. It started at 5.5, and this thing has kind of been bet up by both sharps and then the public. Okay, so it started at 5.5, and the sharps got it up to 7.5 almost immediately. Tickets have continued pouring in on the Hoosiers, so now we're at 8.5. Is that going to change before kickoff? I don't know. If we start getting over 9, I think it gets a little dicey for the books, but they may have to because Scott, if you could pull up the next one about the history of the championship game in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, these are the spreads and who won. Okay, so Ohio State was an 8.5-point favorite. They won by 11. Michigan was a 4.5-point favorite. They won by 21. Georgia was a 13.5-point favorite. They won by 58. Georgia was a 2.5-point favorite. They won by 15. Bama was an 8.5-point favorite, and they won by 28. Okay, so I don't normally like trends and things like this, but what we're seeing here is an absolute trend of the favorites not only covering, but covering in style. If you want to go to the next one that looks like this, Scott, this is what I was talking about, is where Indiana is so heavily on the public. All right, so they're getting about 76 to 78% of the tickets, which is just absolutely absurd. 88% handle on some books. Okay, so the public is incredibly on the Hoosiers, which means Vegas really needs Miami, really needs them. All right, the money line's more even as far as the number of tickets goes, which you expect because you get the better odds and all that. But the heavier money is on the Hoosiers. Now, historically, there has only been one other championship game that has had about this kind of handle on the favorite, or on any side, but particularly on the favorite. And over 70% of the handle was going towards Georgia when they played Texas Christian, and they beat them by 58 points. So the public and the sharps are both all over this. Should that worry you? I don't know. You've seen IU. What do they do to people?
Yeah, they
play joyless murder ball and destroy you. They break your will to live, and Miami will be laying there crying. So that's the way I look at it. I like the Hoosiers in this to cover. You're going to hear a lot of, but Miami's defensive line and offensive line are just too much. They're so disruptive. We've seen the best offensive line units in the country already. We've seen Iowa. We've seen Ohio State. We got pressure. I think this quarterback is worse than Iowa's or Ohio State's quarterback. Their running back is pretty good. but what running back has really gone off on us this year?
Right.
Our tackling is just too good. Our secondary is too good. If we make Beck try to beat us, we will win handily. And I'm not afraid of their defense. Fernando Mendoza is one of the highest graded passers in under pressure by PFF in the country, if not the highest. I know he's top 2 at least. So if Miami gets pressure, so what? That means that they're probably bringing more than 4 guys. They're probably going to have to bring some additional players to come, or and Fernando's just going to pick them apart. I think we're going to quarterbacks and coaching. That's what it comes down to in championship football games, and I think are superior at both. Miami is not a disciplined football team. And just as a side note, their fans are incredibly obnoxious online.
Yes.
They are the worst I have encountered this year.
I'm a little bit both excited and nervous about dealing with them in person in Miami in a couple days.
Yes. Well, luckily, I heard the president is going to be there, which will make your getting in and out way shittier. But the security presence should probably mitigate any roughhousing.
You're a little more online in the social area than I am. Are you? What's your feel from an outsider? What's your feel on what the fan breakdown might be in Miami?
I think it'll lean Hoosiers.
Okay,
but probably not to a heavy extent. I imagine it'll probably be more like the Big Ten title game.
Okay,
like a 60-40 situation, maybe 50-50 for sure. But I think it'll probably lean a little Hoosier. I doubt it'll be like the Peach Bowl. I don't know that I've ever seen a bowl game like the Peach Bowl.
That was
that lopsided fan wise.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go with those other 2 slides?
Yeah. So here's a couple other things that I want to look at on this game. If you're looking at, I've already got a spread bet in. I've got, I need some single game parlay stuff. Maybe there's some other things I want to toss in. Got a couple more here for you. This is one I really like. Indiana third quarter spread -1.5. IU has dominated the third quarter this year. They lost the third quarter in the Peach Bowl 8-7, which I never.
You'd be so pissed if the only thing you bet in the Peach Bowl.
Oh well, I would have put it on a parlay. I also had the Ducks team total 21.5 under, and so that meaningless extra point at the end screwed me over big time. It cost me $60. I could have won on that one. So it was the last leg of a parlay I needed to hit. But anyways, IU has dominated the third quarter this year. Unless they're up 35-0 at halftime, like the last game, right. I expect the same thing to happen. And if they are up 35-0, who cares? You lose your money, but you're going to get to breathe easy in that.
Do you hedge here and also take the second quarter spread? Like just try and hedge it and be like, they're going to blow them out in the second quarter, so the third quarter won't matter. Because like the second quarter, you would have won it in both the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl.
That's true. And I actually think they're good on any of the quarters. You're going to get it about this spread on any quarter.
Yeah.
So except for the fourth quarter, I would not bet that.
Right. Yeah. Because then it could be, you don't know. Right.
And I hate first quarter betting. So if you want to take any of the middle quarters there, the second or third, and then put some money on the spread, I'd have no problem with that. I think they're both probably solid bets.
All right. Anytime scores.
Yeah. Nothing I really love here. But I do think we might have some value if you go down the list. Malachi Toney at +152. If Miami scores a touchdown, that's the guy I'm guessing it's going to be. How many running backs have run in for a touchdown against IU this year? It does not seem like it's something that's happened a whole lot. So that -110 number for Fletcher seems like fool's gold to me. One of the IU backs is going to get in, but the question is which one, or will it be both? You never know. So I don't mind either one of those. If you want to put one of those up on a SGP, Surratt as the most likely player to get in probably makes sense. But a player like Omar Cooper in this game, I think really has a good chance, especially if Miami's bringing pressure and Fernando needs to get rid of it quick. Cooper's the kind of catch and go guy that can really, really find the end zone. And he's just you talk about all the contested catches that Becker makes and all the great contested catches that Surratt makes. Cooper doesn't make them because he's always fucking wide open.
Yeah.
Like he cannot be covered. So I do like Omar Cooper to score. I think that would be not so bad. If you're looking at some of these anytime TD score props, I wouldn't put too much on a single game parlay that has one of them in it. But if you really like one of them, I'd say toss a few bucks on it and let it ride single. Maybe toss it in if you want to get nuts. But
I like the Nowakowski based on the odds. Like the
odds are great on Nowakowski there, aren't they? Yeah.
So let me lay out to you some of the bets I've made, and I want you to give me your assessment of it.
Sounds good.
So I Indiana money line. That's not shocking at all, just for fun.
Yep.
So I went alt spread. I went up to 13.5, which I got at plus 140.
That's another thing I was going to talk about. Yeah.
I like, well, then give me your thoughts on that. Cause I like that buying up the spread. I mean, I think you could even go up a little higher if you're just kind of really feeling saucy. If you think this thing's going to get ugly, like you could buy it up to 21, 22. Just 13.5 felt like that seems like a fair level between where I'm going to get some money and where it also like makes sense. So tell me your thoughts on the buying up.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all in this game. That was when we look at those championship game, the last 5 years, and we see some of these mismatches and just beat downs. It's certainly possible. And I was a kid growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, and every Super Bowl was absolute blow. A lot of times this happens. And, we all love to have the good, 74, 73, national championship, winning on the last second shot. That's great. But some teams win 100-70, it's just how it goes. If you can tell me the name of that national championship game, you'll get bonus points. The 100-70 NCAA basketball championship game. UNLV beat Duke.
Okay.
By 30 in the championship game. So, we've seen blowouts. I don't mind buying up. I would say normally that if you're going to do that, wait until the game starts because you might be getting some better odds. But who knows if D'Angelo Pons and Mark Cuban have hacked into the Miami playbook yet. And so we may get a pick six on the first play. You never know. So
it's a dumb question. I was going to wait till I get there. Is Florida a online gambling state? Can I do FanDuel in Florida?
I could not when I went to Florida last year. But you can buy CBD drinks.
I know. I'm Googling it right now because
no, I think you're gonna have to bet Tennessee will be the last state you'll be able to. Well, are you flying? Are you flying or driving?
I'm flying. Okay. Yeah. So no, it looks like I'm not going to be able to live bet. That's going to be just the James thing. I'll text you my live bets.
You may be able to bet on Highlight down there, but
yeah, that's what my Google tells me here, that you have online casino experience, sweepstakes, casinos, but that's it. So not FanDuel. So what
find a Greyhound track. I think Florida still has those.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Here's my parlay that I put together. Got me at plus 938 odds. One of a couple, just threw a $5 bonus bet on it. Indiana money line. I also bet up the Indiana alt spread to 13.5. And then you go Roman Hemby anytime touchdown, Mendoza to have 150 yards, Hemby to have 25 yards rushing, Kalon Black to have 25 yards rushing, Surratt to have 3 receptions, Mendoza to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Hemby to go over 56 yards.
It lets you put a spread and money line bet on the same parlay.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's really weird. The Hemby one worries me a little.
The yards?
Yeah, that could worry me a little, but I think it's probably solid.
I like it. I mean, I feel like if we're having a good game, you could get the two. I'm a little more worried about the Mendoza to over 1.5 touchdowns, just because there could be a game, where he has a couple of great passes, but then we just punch it in with, Black or Hemby, and then you're up 21-10, and it's just like we're just pounding the ball. Like it's like there's 4 more throws.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to stop him from throwing it either. I think that's perfectly reasonable over 1.5. Now on the player props, if you want to bet unders, you can actually do that on FanDuel. I don't know if you can do it in every state, but in Indiana on FanDuel, you can bet player unders. DraftKings doesn't offer it. A lot of them don't offer it. I'm assuming it's because they don't want them, shaving points and yards and whatnot. But if that's something that interests you, if you heard Scott's and you go, oh, there's no way Mendoza's going to get 150 yards passing, well, go bet it under. I think he's sitting around 209 or something right now, which I actually think the under might be the play there, because he doesn't usually throw for a ton of yards because he's so damn efficient.
Yeah. It's just this Indiana team and the player props are really tough to bet on.
Because they spread it so much, it's tough.
Well, they spread it so much and they play so much to whatever is being given to them, which is why they're winning and why they're great.
Yeah.
But, you have to factor in, like, is the game going to be a blowout? Because if it is, that drastically affects, like, you're probably not going to have 3 Becker touchdowns.
Yeah.
But then, like,
but then that Kobe Martin plus 450 anytime touchdown score looks real good.
Right.
So, I mean,
and same thing with them on the goal line is, like, they get in the red zone. They're just as effective handing it off to Hemby 3 times as they are to going to Surratt or Cooper on a little, slant route in the corner. Like, both of those are very effective touchdowns. It's just kind of like, what do they want to do and how do they want to run it, so to speak? Pun intended.
Which is why I feel so confident going into this game.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's probably a lot of crossover between Colts and Bears fans that listen to this podcast. And when the Colts played the Bears for the Super Bowl in 2006, I felt very confident. I feel more confident now than I did then. And that was a 7-point spread, by the way, that game. And the Colts covered that. So I saw it with my own eyes in Georgia, and I witnessed it in person, and it's really, really affected me in the fact that I'm not as nervous as I normally am. I'm normally a wreck for games. For some reason, I don't feel like it for this one.
It'll come for me, but I'm with you and just keeping my level head. And the thing that I keep going back to, and I've heard this in multiple places, it just seems like there's very few ways the game can go where Miami can win. They're going to have to be very, consistent with the ball. They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Mendoza. They're going to have to really cause trouble with our running game.
They're a 10-leg parlay. They're a 10-leg parlay is what they are.
Yeah, they've got to have a lot of things go right. And it's like for Indiana, there's a lot of paths to victory. There's just a lot of paths, and things can start, they can have a couple of early picks or a fumble or something. It's like they can come back from a lot of those things. But, you saw it in Atlanta. The Pons interception wasn't the end of the game, but it felt like it. It's like that way a path that they had.
Yeah. I can tell you, being in that stadium, that the second it happened, there was a palpable sense that this thing's over.
Yeah.
Because that was the question. Did Indiana come to play? Because if they come to play and they play their game, and it was on display from play 1, well, actually, from the kickoff, it was on display.
Yeah, that first hit.
Oh, man. As long as they do that and do what they've done all year, they're going to walk out of this thing.
Yeah, because you think about it from a psychological point of view, and we'll end on this, is, like the first 2 drives, there's a real opportunity for it to happen again. Just the way that Indiana has punched teams in the mouth, and especially the way that Oregon game went. If Indiana starts with the ball and they drive and score, that doesn't end the game, but it's like it immediately puts Miami on their heels, and they're there. If Miami and then it's like they're going to have to respond immediately, because it's like, oh my God, like this train is already going. And like if Miami doesn't score and Indiana gets the ball back up 7-0 on their second drive, it's like this. You're suddenly in like, we got a real problem territory 5 minutes into the game. So that's one path. The other path is the only other option is Miami starts with the ball on offense. And if you think about it, it's like if they go 3 and out, they're going to be like, shoot, what just happened? But there's a world, and I think it's been 5 games that we've had an interception on the team's first drive. Based on what's been happening, based on that Peach Bowl, it's like Beck cannot throw an interception in the first drive. And if he does, I think the entire place is going to be like, Indiana fans are like, this is what we do. And if you're a Miami player, fan, or whatever, in the back of your mind, you're just thinking like, oh God, like they're just about to do what they did to Alabama, what they did to Oregon. Like that's going to seep into your mind. I mean, God forbid it's a pick six. Like there's a lot of things that could happen on that first drive that I think could put an unbelievable amount of doubt in Miami's head.
Absolutely agree. I think Miami's path is best, what they did against Ohio State. They got to get an early pick. They got to get an early turnover, and they got to turn it into points. And they got to be able to run the football. Ohio State looked ugly in that game. That was not the Ohio State defense that IU played. I can tell you that. They were sloppy tackling. They were in the right spots. I don't expect the Hoosiers to be in the wrong spots. I don't expect the Hoosiers to miss tackles. Because they haven't. And so, they may give up a big play here or there. They gave up a 72-yard run to Oregon, right? Those things happen. But when they have the ball, it doesn't seem like it's hard for them to move it.
Right.
They're always in third and manageable, and they're always completing it, like every time. And Mendoza finding his legs has been a really, really big thing here the last couple of weeks. And I think we'll probably see a little bit more of that too.
Yeah. Well, James,
and, just one word on these Miami defensive ends.
Yeah.
They're not speed rushers. These are kind of bully you rushers, kind of want to push into you. And I think that actually plays to Khalil Benson's strength because he's one of the strongest dudes on the team. Carter Smith, I don't worry about at all. But I see Benson being able to hold his own in this game as long as he doesn't get any false starts.
Let's plan on talking next week if we win. I'm curious to hear what a James. What do you? I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to ask what a celebration looks like. We'll talk about it next week. I can't even go that far.
I'm going to a watch party in Huntertown.
Okay.
So for people that know the 260 Huntertown, baby, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I will be there. I'm going to be there with my wife and my oldest son.
That's
three
awesome.
of my best friends from high school, and then a friend couple that my wife teaches with. So 8 of us are going. We're sitting together. Yeah. I've never I've never seen my team win a title. I'm sure Galen and I will talk. I don't want to talk about what we'll talk about, but it's like I'm sure this will be rehashing at some point, but it's like I was a Colts fan kind of growing up. I was actually a Bills fan, having lived in New York, and my dad was like the Giants and Jets playing in New Jersey, so I love that Bills team. But I was right in a formative age in those 4 straight Super Bowls, and it just kicked me and just hurt. And every time, like I lost a little bit, I got sucked back in, and then the Music City Miracle happened, and like it broke me. It was like I wasn't able to functionally follow the NFL the same way, and the Bills were just awful. And then I moved away. I followed Manning from afar. All to be said, it's like I was very happy for the Colts winning that Super Bowl. It didn't feel like one of my victory. Like it wasn't a team I had just been dying and watching every single game. The closest I got was the Pacers 6 months ago. But I was in the building in game 6 where it's like, dude, I could see the Thunder winning a title today. Obviously, I couldn't see the Pacers because they were down, 3 games to 2. It's like all they could do is tie it. That's the closest I've been to being in a spot where I could see a title. I've seen I saw the Celtics win the Eastern Conference title in the Indy, so I've seen that. But knowing that, and again, that game 6 in the Pacers, it ended with the Pacers win, which was awesome. And there was no title.
But there's
knowing that this is it. There will be a champion at the end of Monday night, and it could be one of my favorite teams.
I will be absolutely crushed if they don't win. So they better win. It will feel like nothing if they. I will just be numb if they don't pull it off.
It's going to be tough. It's also just I'm going to miss. I will say this, and I can only say it right now because it's the time to say it. I'm going to just miss this whole ride. I'm going to miss this team, and I'm going to miss a lot of these players. Last year was unbelievably fun, and it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But outside of Curtis Rourke and a couple others, it's like you knew Cooper, Surratt, Aiden Fisher, Kamara. You knew a lot of these guys were coming back. I feel like we got to know them even better this year. This does feel like the end of this chapter obviously it is the end of this chapter of Indiana football, and the next chapter looks awesome. Portal guys coming in look awesome. Like, we can talk about that in the spring, but you're never going to have this group together again. And that's the thing that I think I'm already a little bit melancholy about as we go into this game, is just knowing that this is the last time I get to see these guys play together. And I hope they end it and they win with a victory. And it's like, as weird as it sounds, I want the victory for them more than me. I mean, they're the ones who are going to experience it. They're going to get to see it, but it's like seeing Surratt celebrate, seeing Aiden Fisher celebrate, knowing those guys, knowing their stories. It's like, I hope they get it for them.
The student body, that's who I want it for. Yeah. I posted, I couldn't imagine being a student down there right now, what it must be like.
Yeah, I hope
the highlight of my college career was Bob Knight getting fired. That's the moment that everybody remembers from when I was in school. Not exactly great. I'd much rather have this as a moment.
Yeah, we beat Temple in basketball. That was pretty high. There was not a lot going on athletically when I was there. We got a couple 8 seeds in the tournament.
Was that the game AJ Guyton hit a last-second shot against Temple? That was the loudest I ever heard Assembly Hall.
Yeah, there was that. There was the Kirk Hastings win against Michigan State. That was a big one.
Yeah.
We had a couple of those. That was Zach Randolph's team. Anyway, so no, we'll see, man. Well, James, it's been awesome. We will connect next week. Enjoy the watch party. For anybody going down to Miami, safe travels. We'll see you out at multiple events. We'll see you at the Hard Rock. Get there early. I'm hearing there's like multiple security checkpoints. You got to get through security to get to the parking lots, and you got to get to security to get there. Like, just be early, be ready, be loud, and stay never daunted. All right. Everybody listening, appreciate it. And we'll see you all after a national championship game. It's not a fever dream. It's happening. Yeah. Enjoy. James, for James, this is Scott for Crimson Cash signing off.
Post time.
Thank you for listening to Crimson Cash, a proud podcast of the Back Home Network.
Queen. Yes, sir. You gotta love this town.